So today we're going to create this art journal layout. I'm grabbing my journal and trying to find a page that I want to work on. And then I decide I kind of need to take the signature out of the journal, which is nice the way this journal's put together. So I pull it out and we're going to work on it. I have a color palette that I'm working from and I put it in front of me so that I can see what I'm doing. I've mixed some colors and so I lay these colors out on a palette in a manner that I can easily mix them. So I kind of go around the page and I position them. I always put black and white in the opposing corners. It just makes it easier for me when I'm mixing things. So here I'm just laying out all the colors in that circular pattern that I was talking about. As you can see, I'm using different brands, some are heavy, some are fluid, some are just regular bodied paints. Now I was going to use this brush and then this foam brush, and then I decided I wanted to go to a makeup sponge. So I like the makeup sponges because I love to paint with my fingers and it's just too messy. So I love this alternative. It feels like I'm really getting in there without technically getting so messy. So I'm just kind of laying down, daubing some color here and there. I like to just kind of work intuitively. So I'm just laying down some color, and here some of the fluid colors I add the white acrylic to, just to give it some good coverage. Initially I add the color and then I will dab in with the colors that I'm mixing with and actually do them right on my page, but it's nice to play with them beforehand so I know what I'm doing. Otherwise it just gets out of hand. So, kind of reins me in a little bit if I play with them ahead of time. It takes me about 5 to 10 minutes and it really is worth my time. And then I save those cards for later, for when I'm looking for color palette ideas. So now I've got my my vintage flashcard. I have bits and pieces all over the place, and so I've just pulled a few bits that I'm just trying to see if I can get something from this. A lot of times I just play until I figure it out, and that's kind of what I'm doing here. I'm using the Missigman stencil here and just doing some stripes across that circle there. That's a circle punch, a 2.5 circle punch of that flashcard. Now I'm going to take this piece and I'm going to put the Carriker face stencil. It's one of my favorites. You can see it's well used. I love this stencil. So I lay that down on the flashcard, and now I'm going to go in with some color. And I usually, with this stencil, I like to start at the top kind of, and I work diagonally. So like top across, and I use one color. Right now I'm using black, and I kind of work my way diagonally a little bit. If you can see here, I kind of work my way up to that other corner. I use a makeup sponge for so many things, and I like them with the stencils, as do many other artists. They're just a nice way to lay paint down on these stencils. It gives you really good coverage, I feel like. Now I'm going in with a nickel azo gold, I think that is, and I'm just kind of moving it around, and there you go. I just like the effect of working diagonal on that. I just think it makes it look nice. So now I'm gonna play with some stencils, add some patterns. I had an idea for maybe how I wanted to lay this out. Like I said, I work intuitively, so I never know exactly how I want to do it, but I had an idea, and so I thought I'd play around and see what I came up with. This is, again, is Ray Missigman's stencil. I like her little stencils because they're great for art marks. Well loved, again, you can see that. Now this is a new one that just came out, so I'm just kind of playing with it. I haven't used it yet, and so I just thought I would give it a try, and I loved it. And now I'm working on the other one, just kind of laying down some random marks. Sometimes this just helps with getting your creative juices flowing too. Just kind of a good practice to kind of just lay down some paint. So now I'm taking that flashcard that I put the face on, and I'm trying to position it, and I'm playing with the little scraps of flashcard that I have. I decided to cut that one in half and use it as tabs maybe. And then I thought, oh, I'm gonna play with this little botanical. It's another well-loved stencil. I just got this and I use this thing a ton. I probably got it, I don't know, right when it came out anyways, and I have used it a ton. I like the big version of this one as well. But I'm just kind of seeing how this will look. And it's in that crack of the journal, so I'm trying to see, maybe repositioning it, see what it does. Just experimenting. I like to go in with different colors. I don't just go in with one color. A lot of times I try different colors on the same stencil. I just think it gives the image dimension whenever I'm doing it. If you notice, I never really use just one color. I try to use more than one, and I really like the look of that. So now I'm checking this out, thinking maybe here, like I just play around with the layout, see what I like. I really do not want to put that on the left side because I did all those art marks. And so I'm trying to force it on the right side. Now I'm looking for bits of ephemera from my stash where I've, I call them little stitchy tabs, like where I just stitch some ephemera together. And guess what? I like it like that, so I cover up all those marks I made, but it's okay. I had fun doing it. So now we're gonna lay it out and just kind of visually kind of get an idea for how I want things. Then I decide I'm going to use that stencil again, and I want to add some pow, so some contrast a little bit. And I thought taking the Posca pen and going in and tracing around the stencil, which is so much fun. I love doing this. And so I'm just kind of stenciling it in a little bit, going around the stencil, and then I'm attaching the top to the bottom so it looks like it's one continuous botanical there. And it actually works off the page a little bit, and I love when that happens. Now I'm going in and shoring up these lines. So I take the Posca pen, it's an acrylic paint Posca pen, and I am just kind of adding some dimension to what I've already put down with the stencil, and kind of solidifying some of those marks that were made and making it look more connected as one. kind of got a stray string there. I like going in with these botanical stencils and just adding line work to them, extra lines in the leaves and stuff. I just think it adds a little bit there. And now I'm gonna go over what I did with that other stencil and just kind of add some line work and bring out some of those others that were already down there from previously. I like to darken little spots. I just think it adds a little dimension whenever you just like make some of the marks a little more bold. So I like to work upside down sometimes, and then I realized I'm videoing this. People don't normally like to work upside down, so I turned it around. I have to remind myself of that because I like to work upside down sometimes. I don't know. It just works for me. Layout wise, it helps me. Okay, so now I'm doing that stencil again, and I'm going to use the black Posca pen to add some marks with that stencil. Just kind of trace around the outline of it, and I'm going to do the same thing. Add some additional marks with it. See, I'm going to connect it and make that stem a little more bold. Add some dimension to the leaves, and just kind of defining everything a little more. Kind of deciding on placement, and then I'm going to add some doodles to the stripes on those circles. Just giving them a little attention so they don't seem so left out. As I'm placing this, I think I want to kind of make those botanicals spread across the face there, just so that it seems like they're not out of place. So I'm kind of blending that flashcard with the rest of the scene here. I'm gonna position it with tape, and then I will go back in and stitch it, which I'm not gonna film that just because you don't want to watch me do that. It's never a good idea. So here I'm just laying these out with that tape, and then I'll go back in and stitch them up, but we are done.